Hi, hey, hello, welcome to Market Down Production. I am tired. I am joined by annoyingly perky and a human monster energy drink, and we're here to talk about Elimination Chamber 2023, the most exciting pay-per-view of the year, I think. It's hard to what could possibly be more exciting than Elimination Chamber 2023. Honestly, it beats me at this point, but that being said, actually, I'm gonna walk that back immediately because it's really a one match show, but we'll get to that match. We will get to that match. Real quick, on a scale of 1 to 10, how you guys doing? Perky guy.
I'm very good. I'm very good. I'm very hyper. I'm very excited for Saturday, and it's going to be a good show.
Oh God, you're exhausting. I asked for a number from 1 to 10, and I didn't get one.
That's fair. I'm like a 1 to 10. I'm a 9.
Okay, that was the most casual anyone's ever said a 9, considering it's the second highest number. Monster Energy, how are you feeling?
It goes to 11. I'm fucking raring to go, dude. Let's do this.
All right, cool. So let's start with a match I don't care about, which I don't think gives up too many
hints. You're going to have to be more specific than that.
Well, to be more specific, it is the only other singles match on this card. It is Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley in a it can't be worse than last time, right? Match. I'm gonna give you my prediction first. I think Brock Lesnar is gonna win, because who gives a fuck? Mostly, I'm more interested in Brock versus Gunther, which I hope we're still getting at WrestleMania. But you know, after that tease in the Rumble, I want it. So I'm gonna go with Brock. Monster, what do you think?
I think I'm gonna go with Brock too. I know the first match, Brock won due to outside interference, or excuse me, Bobby won due to outside interference, and then Brock won the second one, even though Bobby pretty much whooped his ass. So I feel like this is going to be a much more competitive match than the last two, but I do think that they love just keeping Brock strong and constantly putting him over. So unless somebody fucks Brock over, which is more than plausible, and it might even be Gunther, who knows, but to set that up. But I do think Brock Lesnar ends up winning this match to make him look phenomenal going into a match with Gunther. Now, if that match is very, very murky with it happening, because I don't think they're going to have Brock Lesnar going for the IC title, which would unfortunately mean Gunther loses it. But we'll see. We shall see.
At this point, I think anything is possible. So they could have Brock go for the IC title. It would be interesting. I'd be into it.
He's never won a mid-card title.
He's never won any title but the WWE title.
Or the Universal, but yeah.
Yeah, or the Universal.
Yeah, that is true, but he was Mr. Money in the Bank, so, you know, and that was a title in and of itself for Brock.
Funniest 3 weeks ever.
Yeah, it really was. It's one of those, the moment was so frustrating and bad and infuriating, but man, those 3 weeks after,
glorious,
made it all worth it.
Wait, you mean I can cash this in whenever I want?
Oh God, fantastic. Perky guy, who do you have in this match?
I too have Brock Lesnar. I think it's going to be Brock. I think it sets him up for a bigger match at Mania, and I think it sets Bobby closer to the inevitable, which is reuniting the Hurt Business.
I have a question just for you specifically.
Okay.
Finish your thought first, though.
Yeah, no, I think Bobby is on a crash course to rejoin the Hurt Business, and he's going to learn it. He's going to realize it when he can't get a win over Brock on his own.
Interesting. Do you think you're more like a grandfather from a Disney movie or from a Pixar movie?
Technically, all Pixar movies are Disney movies.
Not all.
No, I know, but
there was a stretch where they weren't.
Oh, I mean, technically, yeah, but
I am gonna say I'm gonna hope for a Disney one and not a Pixar one, simply because the Pixar ones tend to come with an air of tragedy, and I don't need that in my life.
Okay.
James, now that you bring back the Hurt Business, remember I was saying outside interference, Bobby could win. It could be the backup plan of MVP, and they reunite on Saturday.
That is very possible too. I think they're going to want Brock looking good going into Mania. I think they care more about Brock looking good and going into Mania than they do about Bobby.
That's fair. I do like your idea.
Understandably so.
Like the fact that he can't beat Brock leads him back.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. That's my prediction, but it's not a spoiler. Sorry, Paul.
I mean, it's not as cut and dry as we're making it seem. Like, I know we all went with Brock, but it really could go either way. I don't care either way.
My heart says Bobby. I'm a Bobby boy, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I didn't know you were a Logic fan.
I was gonna say, you just hate Brock because he beat The Rock all those years ago at SummerSlam.
And Cena. And Cena.
Yeah, but that was the greatest match in SummerSlam history. So
not true.
You have that to hang out on.
Not true.
What was better than that?
Shawn Triple H.
Okay, you said a match with Triple H, and it's just impossible. How many German suplexes were in that match?
I don't know.
That's the second best. That's the second best match.
Yeah, Brian Cena was at SummerSlam, and that was fantastic. And I would also say Kurt Austin. Great SummerSlam match.
All right, that one I can't dispute as much, but I doubt it had 14 German suplexes in it. So, we'll move on from this nothing match to another nothing match.
You just hate this card.
It's weird. I'm so excited for the freaking pay-per-view. It's insane. It's the men's Elimination Chamber match. I'm picking the order arbitrarily here. It is Austin Theory defending his mid-card title against Seth freaking Rollins. Johnny Wrestling Gargano. Bronson left New Japan to be the Miz's bodyguard and now doesn't even have a story or a character read versus Damian Priest, member of the Judgment Day. So, that's everyone's boy right there. And a guy who's going to have a breakout performance and probably have the Santino-like hope spot in this match, Montez Ford. Now that I explained everyone's role in the match, I feel like I'm a little more excited for it. But I don't like that this is for the mid-card title. It just feels pointless. I feel like you could have just had the women's one and it'd just be fine that there's only one chamber, because it's not about the chamber matches at all. It's about Sami. But it's fine that they're giving us this. A bunch of people I like, but ultimately people not doing anything. And Bronson Reed, who I don't have an opinion on yet, but Mr. Percolator, who do you have in this grueling, brutal match where Montez Ford will 100% hit a frog splash off of one of the pods?
Yeah. I kind of want to see him just surprise us and do something even crazier, but I don't even know what that could be. But, he's absolutely going to hit that spot.
Because he's going to jump off the pod and probably graze his head on the top of the freaking chamber.
No. He's going to box jump onto the top of a pod. That's what he's going to do. That dude has one of the craziest verts I've ever seen.
He really does. He gets crazy hype. But I think Theory retains. I want to say Seth just because I don't know what the hell Seth does at Mania otherwise.
Are you kidding me? What? Are you blind?
I forgot about Logan Paul. Yeah.
They're going to have the match of the night. Like, for sure.
They are. No, they absolutely are.
It's so weird we're looking forward to a Logan Paul match.
No, I'm looking forward to a Seth Rollins match. I am not looking forward to a Logan Paul match.
Okay, fine. It's so weird we're looking forward to a Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins match.
Better.
Look, man, look, we've already established you separate the two, okay? Logan Paul, the person, piece of shit, man. Put him in a garbage truck and then drive the garbage truck off a cliff, but the drivers jump out at the last second, so nothing bad happens to them, obviously, you know? But Logan Paul in WWE, oh my God, amazing. It doesn't make sense. It's not how it's supposed to be, but that's how it is, you know? Hey, man, if Logan Paul, you know, gets in a cab, you know, hopefully that cab driver drives it off a cliff, but jumps off at the last second, you know. Again, do not anything bad happen to the cab driver, you know. But in WWE, cherish the guy, you know.
I feel like a lot of those scenarios could be just solved by a cinder block.
Apparently not, because Keith Lee's already back. Spoilers.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, man.
Oh, I meant on the gas pedal, not on the head.
I just I was thinking, you know, next time Logan Paul's at the beach, you know, maybe put some rocks in his bathing suit and the lifeguard looks the other way, you know. But in WWE ring, he's fantastic, man. He like Ricochet's garbage. Why do we need Ricochet? We have Logan Paul, you know. But anyway, James, who do you have in this match again?
Theory. I have Theory retaining. I have Theory retaining.
Yeah, because like who else could win? Honestly, maybe I would love it if Priest won, honestly, and then Judgment Day starts collecting titles. That'd be fun.
That'd be nice.
I would love it. I would low key love it if Finn was the guy to take the title off whoever takes the title off Roman. But I just don't think that's going to happen. But I would love it.
Yeah, we're a ways away from that. It could be, but just it's not anything we could see in the foreseeable future. So, and you know, maybe they give it. I saw someone say, and I wouldn't hate it, but I know I wouldn't defend it either. That they could give it to Gargano to like finally do something with them, but I feel like you shouldn't have to jumpstart someone's momentum by giving them a title. You know?
I agree. I agree. That was something that you would do back in the day as a prop, but I feel like we're so past that with how the championships have been handled lately. So I don't necessarily like. I'm all for like the random title change here and there, but I wouldn't do that right now, especially because the U.S. title was so hot potatoed for so long.
And you could easily heat that. Like all you had to do was tell the story they were telling with Gargano in Theory months ago, and just do it now for the title.
Yep.
But without anything, I think it'd be a bad move. So I agree with you. I think Theory retains, which ultimately again makes the match even more pointless in my eyes. But it will be interesting to see how they get Bronson Reed out as the big guy. I think that's where Priest comes in. I think that's his big spot of the match. Maybe he hits whatever his new finisher is because he can't hit the crossroads anymore, and then Rollins hits a stomp or something, and that's how we take him out.
I thought Priest did the
Razor's Edge
bomb. Yeah, the Razor's Edge. Yeah. Sorry.
He does both, but yeah, he'd been doing the crossroads a little bit more.
If I remember in NXT, he did both.
Yeah.
Well, on the main roster, he was winning with the crossroads. He wasn't winning with the Razor's Edge.
Yeah, because it was something with like an arrow or like a bow and arrow or something like that in NXT. The move name, because he was like the Archer of Infamy back then.
Yeah.
So.
God.
Yep. Guy's going through a lot. Hey, man, Archer of Infamy for a guy that's pushing 40 just seems like a midlife crisis. Judgment Day seems like a fun midlife crisis, you know? So he's doing well. But who do you have in the match, Monster?
You guys make a very compelling case for Theory, and I think that's the right answer. I think Gargano might be my second choice if I had to pick somebody who wasn't the champion, because then you could do a Gargano Theory feud heading into Mania, because obviously Theory is Gargano's son. So you could do that. But I think Theory's the answer here. I think Priest has multiple eliminations. I think that's going to be my side bet there. I think he's going to come out looking really strong in this. I think Reed's going to come out looking really strong in this too. And obviously 4 is going to do something ridiculous.
So, just quick question, Danny. You would know better than we would. Is Bronson Reed still undefeated on Raw since having come back to WWE?
Yeah, he's had 2 matches and he's won the 2 of them. So
I wonder
he's
if
gonna.
Is this the place to give him his first loss?
I don't think so, but I also didn't realize he was in the match despite watching Raw for the past 2-3 weeks until after Raw, because I don't understand why he's in here. I think he's gonna fall down the card regardless this time of year. So I feel like they could give him the title, but then I don't think he would wrestle on WrestleMania. So you might as well keep it on Theory, and then the title would be at WrestleMania. And that's the way I see it. But I would like, since Rev said that Theory is Gargano's son, I would like Theory to feud with Baby Wrestling going into Mania. I think that would be an interesting program. I'd be into that. I'd like to see the promos between them.
Somebody has punted a baby before, so
it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah, tell that to my friend AJ, who's almost kicked a baby several times.
But the U.S. title, though, going into Mania, does kind of feel like the title where they're going to end up having a multi-man match for it, right?
Nope, because it's going to be Theory versus Cena for the U.S. title.
All right, that's a good point. Because usually they have that, and unless Gunther loses the IC title, I don't think they're going to have a multi-man match for the IC title. But
I don't think they're going to have that many multi-people matches at Mania, honestly. Besides, like, the women's tag or some shit.
The women's tag is always defended in a 4-way match at this point. It's tradition.
They got to get Natalia on the card somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and speaking of, we're going to talk about the women's chamber. So we're all going with Theory, I think was what we established. But we're going to talk about the women's chamber, which at least has, not that the U.S. title is in stakes, but this, in my opinion, a better use of the chamber, which is determining the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm a big proponent of using the chamber for contenders. I think it's fantastic where it is. I wouldn't move chamber from the pay-per-view before Mania. I think it's perfectly placed. But
yeah, it should always be whatever title the Royal Rumble winner picks. Then the chamber is for the number 1 contender to the other title. It should always
exactly.
be that. And I understand they can't do it for the men right now because Roman has both, but this is perfect usage of the chamber, like you said.
Yep, absolutely. Because there's no natural way to set up an elimination chamber. You can't have a feud for an elimination chamber. So this is the best way to do it.
Wait, James, you disagree?
Yeah, I think he's one of those purists who thinks, having this pay-per-view for Mania is dumb, and it should just be a special occasion attraction. There's no special occasion that warrants a chamber. You just want the pay-per-view to be called No Way Out. Okay, gotcha.
I don't want an elimination chamber to be the before Mania pay-per-view because it's too predictable. I think it's too predictable. Depending on who the champ is, whoever's in that chamber, you're going to know who wins it, or vice versa. I like chamber in the middle of the year because then it could just completely change the rest of your outcome. But if you do something wild going into Mania, it screws up the natural progression of what should come next. I think chamber is wasted in the pay-per-view before.
I feel like
a fair argument. I disagree, but it's a fair argument.
Yeah. I feel like you're not dumb for that, but I disagree. I also think you're discrediting your favorite wrestlers era where, dude, the title changed hands all the time at No Way Out / Early Doors Elimination Chamber. Fucking Edge losing one title, winning the other one the same night. Jericho winning the title in his chamber. Fucking people, that shit would happen all the time. It's just they haven't done it in a long time. That's the problem.
Shout out Kofi Kingston tweeting out the other day a screenshot of like some bot on Twitter being like, never forget Edge killing Kofi Kingston to join that second elimination chamber with a picture of Kofi's head just smushed in the stairs with a chair.
And even when the chambers are predictable, you can still get a moment like Kofi in the 2019 chamber. Also, let's be like, I would say Bray Wyatt winning the title in the Chamber was pretty dope, and a title change happened.
It was awesome, but the Edge one, sure, that no one saw that one coming the way it played out. The Bray one, totally predictable.
Well, yeah, because Orton won the Rumble, but like, you still have that. I don't know, like it's still a title change. At least it's not just the champs always retaining. It wasn't I would say a bad predictable. The bad thing was
I don't even want the titles defended in the Chamber. Like, I want it to determine the number one contender.
And I'm fine with Chamber being used as a number one contender spot. It doesn't need to be a title match for me. That's not my problem. My problem, again, just kind of lies in the fact that I do think its placement before Mania, I don't think it's as suspenseful as it used to be. That's all.
Okay, cool. Well, then you know what? They should probably have the Royal Rumble in fucking June then, because you know what? That shit was predictable as fuck too.
You know what? Fine. Not a bad counterpoint. It's not a bad counterpoint.
So anyway,
reasonable people can disagree.
Now that we're here, I say this Chamber is slightly unpredictable because it's a whole lot of nothing going on right now. You see just a quick, let me paint the picture for you lovely people at home who don't watch WWE super regularly, but Charlotte's ruined this match that she's not even a part of on a brand she's not a part of, going for a title she's not going for. So now we have 6 people who don't feel like they're worthy challengers of Bianca, except for who I think everyone's going to pick to win, Asuka. So we're in a situation where it's just not credible. You have no Bayley in this match. You have no Becky in this match. You have no Sasha Banks in this match. You're just missing a lot of, credible people that could potentially win and move on. Granted, I wouldn't think any of those people would win this particular Chamber, but still, we're lacking. We have Asuka versus Liv Morgan versus Nikki Cross versus Raquel Rodriguez, who's I guess the only other pick really to win, versus Natalya versus Carmella. So they could do Raquel because they could do the big muscly ladies and their friends from NXT. And then, with Rhea going for the other title, they can have callbacks to that moment 2 years ago or whatever when all 3 of them were holding titles. Or you could go with the more likely choice, which is Asuka, who again would make a lot more sense if this was the number one contendership for the SmackDown Women's title that Charlotte's holding, and Rhea chose Bianca like everyone wanted and like she should have. But that's a whole nother thing. We had a whole podcast episode about that, and we'll probably have another one.
You and I spent 30 minutes yelling about that.
Yeah, and I feel like I still had more to say. So, that being said, I will go to you first on this one. Who do you think's going to win and go on to face Bianca? And keep in mind that this person probably has to beat Bianca because otherwise their title reigns are going to go on for way too long.
Good point. I do think you're right. It's probably going to be Asuka. Killer Clown Asuka is just way too cool. Goodness.
Twisted Metal Asuka.
Exactly. Like it's kind of, dude. She's got to win. I hope. I've been saying Raquel needs to look good. She looked good in the Rumble. I think she'll look decent here. I did like that compelling storyline, Danny, but I don't think she's going to win. Low-key, I think Carmella is going to be booked pretty strong in this match. Just because she just came back. I don't know. I think because she's recently come back, I think she's going to look halfway decent in this match.
I mean, that's her gimmick is, winning matches that you don't think she's going to win. I think
she'll at least get an elimination.
Yeah, sure. I mean, all right. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I want you to predict every single elimination and the order.
Oh, the order. Well, that depends because I don't know who's going to start and who's going to. Oh, that's tough.
Okay, right, just every elimination then. Who's going to eliminate?
All right. Well, without knowing the order, I'm going to say Carmella eliminates Natalya. I think.
Love it. You need that. Get that Canadian out of this match in Canada. Absolutely.
Raquel eliminates Nikki Cross. And probably Carmella, and then Asuka eliminates Liv.
And what about who eliminates Raquel?
And Asuka eliminates Raquel, sorry. So Liv eliminates Raquel, and then Asuka eliminates Liv. There you go.
Okay, I can see that because then they could go into a little feud on SmackDown between Liv and Raquel based off that. All right. Mr. Perky Pixar guy.
Hang on, if that happens, if that happens, I want James to dye his beard pink again.
Absolutely. Deal.
What just happened?
You know what? No. I don't know why I brought James into this. You put me on the spot, Danny. If that happens, you have to dye your beard pink.
It ain't ever happening.
Yeah, my beard's a little too important to me.
No, but I mean, like, specifically those eliminations, if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, what do I have to lose, I guess? Wonder if my job would be okay with that.
It's called a razor.
So I'm God.
I know.
I die. I have nightmares. I have actual nightmares about going to shave, and I mess up like so badly that I'm like, I have to shave my whole fucking beard off.
I've done it before. I've done it before. That I fucked up shaving.
That's why I just trim.
Yeah, it's annoying. I hate that it's an actual nightmare that I have, but it's like the only one. That being said, a guy who's probably gonna dye his beard pink at some point again in the future.
I don't think I am.
No, you're not. I will not hold you to that, James.
Who's gonna win this match?
I weirdly have Raquel winning for all the reasons you mentioned before. You know,
it's not that weird, but yeah.
Big woman versus big woman with a history and friendship going back to NXT, especially because unlike you, I don't think Bianca will lose at Mania. It feels like it was such a big reign that to just have it lose like with no real build up to it just feels like a waste. Like
I mean, I wanted to end more for her own sake than
before people turn on her.
Yeah.
You know, I get that, and I agree with that notion, and I would like for that to happen. But the only person to randomly come in and do that I'd be okay with doing that is Asuka. And that's because Asuka just went through this character change in the first place. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Raquel, and it's probably going to be Asuka. I'm going to go with Raquel winning the Chamber.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to ask you to predict all the eliminations, but what's the order that everyone's going to come out in?
Entry order?
Yeah.
So I think the first two are going to be Raquel and all right. So it's Raquel, Asuka, Carmella,
Natty, Liv, and Nikki.
I think it's going to be Raquel and Nikki. No, it's going to be Raquel and Natalya because they're going to want Natalya in throughout the match because she's going to call most of the spots. So.
But she's not good, so that's a weird.
But she's a good play caller. She's just not a great player.
And it's Canada, so like having her start's probably a good thing.
Raquel, Natalya, or no, I'm sorry, Liv, Natalya, Nikki, Raquel, Asuka, Carmella.
Okay, interesting. And you have Raquel. Okay, so I think Asuka's going to win because that's the only silver lining here. And then she can have. I think she'd be the only person to win the Rumble, the Money in the Bank, and the Chamber. So that'd be, or at least the only woman. I don't know. Yeah, John Cena's won all three of those, so like she'd be the only woman to do it. But I'm gonna say that the Liv Morgan 100% starts this match.
Yeah.
I think you nailed that. I think she starts with Raquel, and then Nikki comes out, then Asuka, then Natalya. You build to the Canadian pop, and then Carmella comes and immediately eliminates Natalya. Which in an ideal world, it would just be like when Shayna Baszler was in the Chamber and she eliminated everyone right away. In an ideal world, that's how little Natalya would be in this match. But you gotta get Canadians are a great crowd, but you'll cheer anyone from there, even if it's not warranted. So like you gotta work on yourself. Yeah, which I get. I mean, I don't love all New Yorkers. That's not like an automatic pop for me, but I guess I get it. But anyway, I guess to move on, you know what? Talking about the match has almost made me more excited for it than it on paper, because on paper it's a nothing match, because no one's booked well actually. Because Asuka struggled way too much to beat Chelsea Green on Raw, and I thought that was a huge setback for the character. But moving on, we're going to talk about people who are all booked well, except for one. And it is Edge and Beth Phoenix versus the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio at ringside. Edge is the one not booked well in this group, by the way. Beth is fine. She's a legend that comes in, puts people over, even though she hasn't wrestled an actual match in a long time. But,
I thought you were going to say Rhea strictly because she's going up against Charlotte.
No, I mean, I meant booked just like strongly, maybe not.
That's fair.
She's not facing the right person, It's crazy how much more exciting her feud with Beth Phoenix is than her feud with Charlotte, which is non-existent. You see how like Cody tied in like the Sami Roman feud with his, and they weave this masterful web on Monday where they made you believe that it could be Sami versus Cody, and it's so interesting, and everyone looked good coming out of it. Whereas like here, it's like Beth is gonna make Rhea look so great, but then she's moving on to a feud with Charlotte, and it's just whatever. But it'll be a fun match. It's a fun intergender tag between a bunch of really good wrestlers by like two really strong people, and Edge and Finn Balor. So you got the muscle on the team, and then you have the smaller, more agile, quick people in Edge and Finn, which just feels weird putting Edge in that category. But I don't think he curls as much as his wife does. So I'm okay with saying that. But I think it's going to be fun, and you got Dominic on the outside being great. So beard guy, perky guy, who do you have in this fun palate cleanser of an intergender tag match?
You asked both of us, or did you just ask me?
He said perky guy. That would be you, perky guy.
But he also mentioned beard guy, and you have a beard too.
I know, but he
yeah, but he's not dyeing his beard.
I'm not either.
Not yet.
I have Judgment Day. I think they want Rhea to look good going into Mania, and Finn beating Edge allows them to extend Edge versus Finn to Mania, where Edge can get his win over Finn at Mania, quite possibly in Hell in a Cell. Who knows at this point? But yeah, Judgment Day all the way.
Okay, interesting. Could you see a world where not only is it a Hell in a Cell, but it's actually a tag match with Edge and Ray versus Finn and Dom?
Do it in the cell.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, yeah.
Not that I'm thrilled at the notion of Edge versus Finn, but I think both matches are made worse by making it a tag match. I think both matches would be better as singles matches than making it a tag match, even though Edge and Ray do have good chemistry.
See, I understand what you mean, but also I don't think the Ray versus Dom should be a singles match. I think a tag match plays to Dom's character strengths of being sucky and bad and coward pretending to be tough. So if you do it as a tag, they can kind of play with that in a fun way. But yeah, I understand what you mean. And that was just something I threw out there because you mentioned the Hell in a Cell. But all right, so you're going with Judgment Day, which I think is reasonable, but I don't think set in stone because it is Edge after all. And, Finn is right there. Finn has nothing going on. He might take the pin in this. But that being said, Monstar, who do you have in this match?
Well, first of all, if they're going to do Ray versus Dom, it's got to be a 4th of July on the pole match because Dom keeps interrupting every holiday, and they got to figure out who's going to get them, whether it's going to be Ray and his wife or Dom and Mommy over there. James made a really compelling case as to why it should be Judgment Day, because I was trying to reconcile between Judgment Day losing with Rhea going on to face for the title and the fact that I do think after his loss in the I Quit match, Edge should probably win this one, and then you go on to Mania. So yeah, like if Edge wins and Rhea still looks strong, I think it's okay. But at the same time, don't you want Rhea having a really high profile win going into her match with Charlotte? I think
Well, let me throw this out. Let me throw this out for you, because if they did have Edge and Beth win, I think the way they offset that for Rhea is that they just have Beth and Rhea have a singles match on Raw, like maybe not the night after, but like the Monday, like 2 weeks after, they have a singles match and Rhea just looks great, and that's even better because that's a singles match where she dominates a Hall of Famer, someone stronger than her, someone stronger than Charlotte, and it looks fantastic. Just throwing that wrench into your works before you finalize your answer.
Well, I was going to say, I think actually Edge and Beth are going to win, but I think the way they could protect that is like if Rhea just absolutely just obliterates Beth somewhere away from the ring and just absolutely takes her out and murders her. And then while that's going on, she's not there to protect Finn from losing. So I think that's the way you could do it. Where
she obliterates Edge and then she gets rolled up because she's that's too much.
Well, I know I do want Rhea hitting a riptide on Edge, but I think that's the way you could do it. I whatever happens here, I think you guys are right. I do think they're going to set up for Edge versus Finn at Mania. Hell in a Cell would be really cool. I think I'm going to take Edge and Beth, though. I think that's the way. They love the 50-50 booking heading into this shit. One guy gets a win, then the other one gets it, and then they have to have the rubber match in a big time type of match, whether it's Hell in a Cell, a steel cage, whatever it is. So, I think that's how it's going to play out. I think Edge ends up pinning Finn, but Rhea looks really strong by just absolutely decimating Beth Phoenix.
All right, I see that. You guys split. Where do I want to go? I'm gonna go with
I like when we split because then one of us is wrong and we can lord it over the other one.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's no fun if we all say the same thing every time. Like
unified front.
No, boo. Pick other
no. There's a chink in the armor. Come on, what are you doing? I'm gonna go with Edge and Beth Phoenix because I think Edge is just not putting people over, man. Like, I think it's a tag match for that reason. Like I said, maybe I think what I said is going to happen. Then Beth will put over Rhea in a singles match because that feels like the real payoff to their interactions. So I'd be super into that anyway. But guys, it's time. We got to talk about it.
Event. Sorry.
It's okay. I feel like I left it dangling too long, and that it was bound to happen. It is going to be Sami Zayn, hometown hero, hopefully coming out to his old theme song.
Oh, God willing.
Versus Roman Reigns. Guy has been champion for what feels like a third of my life.
I kind of want to do the math on that now.
I mean, honestly, it's like a tenth of my life, but it's still a bigger fraction than it should be. It's gonna be magical. The environment is gonna be unparalleled. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna make you feel so emotional, like involuntarily. You can try your best to be cold and rigid and borderline sociopathic about it, but this match will make you feel something. It is certain. It is unavoidable. It is more undeniable than Cody Rhodes. It is going to make everyone feel something. There will probably be shenanigans. There will probably be people who normally wouldn't be allowed in Canada showing up in Canada. There's so much to this match that I don't even want to unpack it in specific details. I just want to let the vagueness and the cliches I'm throwing out here, hold their weight and work their magic and just never really specify anything because there's no justice to be served. for how compelling this match is. This is match of the year. We're going to do a special at the end of the year where we all put down, our top matches and top wrestlers of the year. And we'll still do that for like the wrestlers, and then we could put like our second and third favorite matches and shit like that. But this is match of the year. There's no point. I feel like no one should try that much anymore after this because, what else is there to prove? Wrestling will be borderline complete at this point. I mean, what else do we need? We've had Daniel Bryan in 2014. We had the Acclaimed winning the tag titles. We had Kofi Mania. We had Becky Lynch. We had CM Punk. What else do we really need? We had Max Landis's Wrestling is Wrestling video before he did whatever inappropriate stuff I'm sure he did, and screw him for that. But what else do we need? How have we not proven that wrestling is the purest and one of the best forms of storytelling? Wrestling is anime. Wrestling is action movies. Wrestling is superhero movies. Wrestling is drama. And that one segment between New Day and the Fashion Police, wrestling is film noir. Like, there's so much purity and beauty in the storytelling of wrestling, and this story proves it. In this match will make any doubter believe that. That being said, Monster, who do you have in this match?
Woof. I don't know how to follow that. Jeez. I look. I think we can all say that we want Sami Zayn to win this match. Dave Meltzer thinks Sami Zayn is going to win this match. I'm not so sure. I think Sami Zayn becomes the first, as you said, as the phrase you used earlier, Danny, chink in the armor of Roman Reigns, where he's probably going to get really fucking close, but I don't think he's going to win, which is unfortunate. I've seen a lot of people online speculate that it's going to be Jey Uso who ends up costing Sami Zayn here, despite him having a lot of reservation about doing it, especially after what we saw at the Royal Rumble and the fact I don't believe he's been at SmackDown or any of these places, or Raw or SmackDown since the Rumble, which has been great storytelling.
He was at SmackDown, but yeah.
Oh, he had been. Okay, well, was he there?
Well, they had
titles.
Yeah, he showed up last minute. They defended the titles. He hugged his brother. He left, and then he bumped into Sami in the parking lot. And Sami, importantly, acknowledged Jey.
I acknowledge you, Jey Uso.
I really need to pay attention more on Fridays. I was somewhere on Friday. I forget. It was.
I've never watched SmackDown this year, but I still somehow know
that segment.
Honestly, Friday is a bit of a lost day for me. Yeah, I went out.
You just watched Lost on Friday, gotcha.
No, okay. I went out and got lost.
On DVD, so you can watch it. I'm just saying.
Anyway, all right. I'm glad I know that because that's very important. Yeah. I'm just saying, people online were saying Jey is going to be the one to screw Sami. I don't know, man. I think Roman's going to win. I think Roman's going to win via some shenanigans. I think there's definitely going to be a spot where Sami pins Roman cleanly and the ref's not there to count it for whatever reason, ref bump or otherwise. But it's tough to know how Roman's going to win. I feel like that, for me, I think that's the intriguing part because I'm 100% convinced Roman's going to win because I don't see how you take the titles off him at a pay-per-view that isn't WrestleMania. But, and if I'm wrong, that's phenomenal. So I'm been spending more time trying to figure out how he's going to win, whether it's a Jey Uso interference, whether it's Solo and Jimmy. We'll see, but it's Roman. The pick here is Roman. It's just the logical storytelling because I think Sami is the first step to the bloodline falling apart. And then Cody wins at Mania. And then you have Jey probably end the whole thing with a month or two later. Probably at SummerSlam, if I'm being honest.
So I don't think you're wrong there. And I think you brought up an interesting point about how Roman Reigns is going to win. And it made me think of a spot I think will happen in the match now, which is, Sami hitting the haluva kick and then catching Roman like he always catches Kevin Owens after a Luva kick, and doing that to Roman instead of Owens, the only person he ever does that to, will tie in nicely to what will probably be. Look, there's a lot that can be said about this, but I do think that after the match, there will be some sort of extra beatdown, and that's when Kevin Owens returns and makes the save, and they fully reunite. So that's why I think that Helluva Kick spot is going to happen in the match now.
That's a good call. That's a really good call.
Yeah, I do. I'm just so excited for the environment.
Right?
I think it's going to be off the walls. It's going to be like Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago, or the title unification ceremony in Seattle with Dan O'Brien.
X8 Rock versus Hogan.
Yeah.
And I was in Canada too.
It's gonna be poetic. Like, this is a poem. Shel Silverstein could never. Okay. It is gonna be just majestic, just so beautiful and touching. And that's the thing. And that's what makes this all okay. Like, any other circumstance, all the other examples I've compared it to, it's like if we didn't get what we wanted, shit would have hit the fan. People would have been in the streets rioting, breaking stuff, setting stuff on fire, protesting. They would have been treating it like Philadelphia sports fans after a loss or a win.
I was gonna say, we still might get that, because have you seen Montreal fans when they lose? Probably not, because the Habs have barely been in the cup in the last 20 years. Trust me, it gets ugly.
Also, the Expos left, and are in Washington now. But
they were only good 1 year, and there was a strike.
But
sorry, Pedro.
Like, that environment's gonna make everything about it worth it. And that's the thing, is, as much as I do believe that they've considered having Sami win, I don't think they're steadfast where it's like, yeah, this dude's never gonna win. I think they've definitely been like, hey, we could do it. I think Sami and Cody interacting was a bit of like, hey, let's see if this really could work. And the fact that a promo got a "This is awesome" chant, I think shows that it could work. But I don't think they're going to deviate, because that messes up. It's not just about Sami in this case. That would mess up the Usos' plans. That would mess up Owens' plans. That would mess up Cody's plans. You can't rewrite that many people's plans like this. This isn't just Batista. Cody, despite my best efforts, is not going to get booed. And at this point, I don't think he deserves. I mean, I think he deserves to as a person, but not as a character. I think the character is impervious to being booed, but as a person, he deserves it. I still love him either way, but it's just magical how they've crafted this story where not giving, like, they've made me want something so badly, and they're not going to give it to me, and that's okay. I'm not going to cancel the WWE network over it. I'm enjoying the ride. So Percolator, why do you have tell me how you think this is going to play out? You have Roman, but like, how is it going down? Or are you about to shock us all right now?
No, I think you guys both nailed it. I think there is a 1% chance Sami wins. I don't think it's 100%.
Whoa. I'd say 2%. Okay.
You know what? It's a lot of people's favorite milk. So sure.
All day.
Why do you have a favorite milk?
I don't know. I don't drink milk.
Why isn't it all almond also?
Where is the boob on an almond? But I think you guys nailed it. I think there is going to be that spot where Sami has him pinned and the ref doesn't count it for whatever reason, either ref bump or distraction or whatever. So Sami is going to be the first person to say that he actually had Roman pinned. I think
that's not true.
What?
I was going to say, that's definitely happened previously in this.
Has that happened?
Yeah, I think
almost
it has.
all the time.
I don't remember. I believe you.
He doesn't really beat anyone clean.
Yeah,
Always his whole character.
I know he doesn't beat anyone clean. I just don't remember him getting pinned without the ref being there. That's the only.
It literally just happened at the Rumble. Owens had him down for like a 6 count. Then he hit a stunner and the ref was out.
I didn't remember.
No, we were there together watching. You said it was a beautiful night you'd never forget.
There was a lot
you
about
said,
that night that I've repressed, and I apologize.
Somebody on Squared Circle put together a very helpful chart about all of Roman's defenses, and a lot of them are. There was a column: did he have the match lost, so to speak? But a lot of it was yes. You'd be amazed how many matches he should have lost, and he didn't because ref bumps or shenanigans or whatever.
It's like 90% of them.
Yeah, that's kind of depressing. Well, anyway, just disregard
works.
that. Yeah, no, it does. But disregard that then. I do think Kevin is going to come out, but I don't know if it's going to be after the match. It could happen during the match when he sees that like Solo's there or the Usos are there.
During the ref bump.
Yeah, something. I think Kevin has a very real shot of maybe like giving us that false hope that Sami's going to win.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it could easily go the other way too. That the beatdown is happening and then Kevin is the one who makes the save and he and Sami hug in Canada and everybody cries. Yeah, I'm so ready to get hurt again. And they're gonna give it to me. I will say I am a little more optimistic about Sami in the long run. I agree. I don't think they're ready to put the title on Sami for this, but I would be shocked if he doesn't get a world title now at some point within maybe the next year.
I'd hate to be that this person, but I do. Okay, one side note, I think Jay will cost Sami the match, but he won't want to. He will do it reluctantly because they do. Ultimately, we're rooting for Jay. We want him to turn face, and we want him to side with Sami. But we need to have that tag title match at Mania, and that's how you got to do it. He has to do it reluctantly, and then once KO and Sami win the titles at Mania, that's when they have their moment where they hug again, the first hug since War Games or whatever around that time, and you do that. But what I was gonna say was, we like to not take certain people's opinions seriously nowadays. And one of those guys is Eric Bischoff, I believe. But, he did have a point where he was like, I wouldn't put the title on Sami now, but I would do it in like 6 months or so. He's like, keep it going, like, prove that this can go a little longer and then boil it up a little more and then pull the trigger. He basically said kind of what we're saying, like, don't deviate from the plan now, but it's something you can do in the future now because he's proven himself. And the fact that Eric Bischoff thinks that, I think is like, most times disregard these people's opinions, but when you soften the fucking saltiest people, I think that's noteworthy.
I agree.
And he said too, like, they need to capitalize on this the way he didn't with like the NWO. Yeah, so
the fact that he compared it, used that as an analogy.
Yeah,
that's saying something.
Everyone loves this storyline. I don't think I can find
the acclaimed.
And the acclaim. But I don't think I can find a single person who doesn't think this has been done absolutely perfectly.
Like you'll find people who like have that mentality of like they have to put the title on Sami, they have to deviate, they have to pull a Bryan, they have to pull a Kofi, they have to pull a Becky, they have to pull, they have to change the plans. But that's it. And those people deep down know they're wrong. It's just what they want, like that's understandable. But no one's not enjoying this ride. Like you have to be the saltiest, most bitter person in the world. Even that person, I doubt, isn't enjoying this. Yes, you had a question. Person raised
no, it's okay. Eric actually is enjoying this.
In an alternate universe, Cody is still injured, can't come back at the Rumble. How do you book the road to Mania?
Then Sami's winning this. Well, no, I don't think he's winning this. I think he's winning the title at Mania then.
Do you think he wins the Rumble?
Ooh, good question.
I mean, he would have to. Yeah. I mean, because you could just do the betrayal slightly different. Just don't have it be as brutal.
You do it
and then have it happen earlier in the night. No, yeah, but you can't have it be as brutal because then you can't beat him up that badly and then have him, come out later in the Rumble.
I would have accelerated the timeline and maybe have done the the beatdown at the pay-per-view before the Rumble, and then you have Sami return at the Rumble, win, and challenge Roman.
I wouldn't even do it at the pay-per-view. I would do it at a Raw or SmackDown in that case.
You could do it. You could do it there too. I think it would have been a little more impactful at the pay-per-view, at all pay-per-view. I don't know what the one in December was.
The last pay-per-view, there was none. There would have been War Games. And that would have been, I think that would have been too long. As good as this is, I think that's too long.
Yeah, then it would have been
to have to wait for a payoff.
No, yeah, I would. Yeah, then a SmackDown in December makes sense. I thought there was a pay-per-view in December.
It usually is, but they stopped. They didn't do it this year.
No more.
Last year.
No more December to Dismember. That's gone by the way.
For some reason, despite how praised that was.
No more Armageddon.
Just shame.
Which is all you want is for an Armageddon Elimination Chamber instead of a Hell in a Cell, James. We understand, but
hey, my guy won his first title at Armageddon. I love that pay-per-view.
You know what? How about we just have Elimination Chambers to determine spots in the Rumble, and we'll just do that, okay?
Yeah,
or realistically, Money in the Bank. You got to win an Elimination Chamber to get a shot at Money in the Bank, and then
Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank to get to the Rumble.
Yeah, and then if you win the Rumble, you probably got to win a ladder match again, I would say, but not a Money in the Bank one.
Otherwise, you get roadblocked.
Yeah. Do you want to bring a scrambled match into this, or
I missed the scramble match so much.
It's one I didn't watch. I didn't watch those pay-per-views, but like I was interested in it at the time. But then everyone just hated it, so I was like, oh, I guess it sucked. I didn't watch it until like years later.
It was a really fun concept that they just didn't always execute the right way, but it was a very fun concept.
Yeah. But yeah, who would have thought we were talking about scramble matches after this? But
now I want eggs.
God, it's gonna be just the best. I feel like I've been very over dramatic and over the top about it, and I'm still selling it short. You know,
I think you've been appropriately dramatic.
Yeah, because I know when Sami inevitably hits that spear, because he's hitting one, that place is going to go absolutely batshit crazy. The roof is going to go off that place, and it's going to be phenomenal. Like, I don't think you can undersell this. It's that good.
It really is. It is. Just imagine all the people that are like, yeah, I'm paying all this money to fucking cry. Like, and I'm going to love every second of it. And it's just so great. It's going to be a crowd chanting bullshit. Like, they're so pissed, but they're going
to flip some cars. Like, they're going to burn some couches. It's Montreal.
Yeah, they're going to freaking... Is there a capital in Canada? Because they'll storm it on a bunch of moose. Is mooses? What's the plural of moose? Is it mooses? Yeah. Moose. Okay, I feel like it's weird that both moose and deer are like that. So that's why I was like,
you think moose would be both
really like that? Yeah, you would think that. Yeah, because of goose.
English.
Yeah,
but English.
This goose was made for squawking. You know, that's just what it'll do.
You got a problem with Canadian gooses? You got a problem with me?
No, I mean, if you have a problem with Canadian, if you have a problem with Canadian geese, you have a problem, okay? Because
yeah, they're wicked.
Oh, it was a Danny. Shout out to Van Ness Little League and how destroyed those fields would get by the geese. Good Lord.
God, you really didn't want to have the first practice of the season on that field. Holy shit!
You were sliding in more geese shit than dirt.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't like playing the outfield. But anyway, on this beautiful note, God, enjoy the show, guys. Watch out for our reactions afterwards. I'm sure we're gonna be a fucking wreck in like the best way possible. Maybe one of us will cry on stream. We don't know. Like it's hard to know how you'll feel. Yeah, we get it, bro. Okay, you're a sociopath. Which is cool. It makes me feel a little bit better about myself. So that's fine.
Here to help.
But we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time after the show. We're going to have a great time during the show. Check us out on all our social media. Stay up to date on all the latest mark-ins. And yeah, be nice to animals. Be careful and respectful around geese. And don't drink and drive. Thanks thank you for watching. This has been the Market Down podcast, the only podcast about stocks and their downward trends. Yeah, thank you for watching. Good night, everyone. Please get out.